It's Coach Tay Watley, and guess what? We have another video in tune. And so I really want you to know that there is a lie that is going on where people are under inception that because we're in a pandemic, that their vehicle cannot get repo. And guess what? Your vehicle will get repossessed if you're not paying the bill. Trust me. So make sure that you tune in to what I'm about to say so that way you ensure that your vehicle is not at risk. Here we go. Okay, guys, so I'm going to talk about the different types of people that are at risk at this point in time. You are at risk for a repossession if you are 45 days past due and never made a payment. You are considered first payment default. That means you've just been rolling around, and never made a payment on your vehicle. If you are not on a deferment program, if you're not, if it is not understood by the company or the lender who financed your vehicle, that you can just do that, just drive for free, you probably want to make them a phone call. You want to make sure that if you did not receive a bill, especially your first bill within 45 days, you are at risk. Actually, if you don't receive that bill, make sure you give your lender a phone call because you do not want your vehicle to be at risk for pickup due to non-payment. Everyone is in a situation right now, okay? The pandemic is hitting everyone a little bit differently. But if you've been making your payments, but you're a little behind, then you make your payments and you get a little bit behind, okay? So if you're in that back and forth, right, between 60 days and 90 days that you're past due, you're probably kind of at risk, okay? At this point, you want to contact your creditor and see if you are able to make any negotiations, any type of deferment, any type of what type of programs that they have, okay? Because you may be eligible, you honestly may be eligible. It might, honestly, your vehicle may be saved if you just pick up the phone call and say, hey, I need help. Okay, and say, this is not the time to avoid phone calls, period. You need to make sure that you're making the phone contact and advising that you need help, okay? And I know that it's hard because a lot of us have never, ever been in this type of position. But guess what? You are not alone. There are hundreds of thousands of people in your similar situation, and they have programs that will be able to assist you potentially. But you have got to make sure that you contact to ensure that you are one of those individuals that have a need. Because if you continue to allow your account to fall more and more behind and you do not contact the creditor, then they have every right basically to go ahead and get their collateral back due to non-payment. And there is no additional contractual arrangement to pay. Another thing that you want to do when you're within this time frame, right, and they offer you some type of assistance, make sure if they hand you deferment paperwork, whether you have to email, e-sign, whatever you have to do, return it. You would be so surprised about how many people do not return their information, which causes an extension, right, to not be able to be applied towards their account. And that's either extending the loan or deferring a loan. So when you have a vehicle and whether it's lease, you're more than likely going to attempt to extend the time frame of the loan, right? They might be able to provide you an extension, whether due to COVID-19 they're not open, or whether you're having this this type of issue, you need the car a little bit longer. The extension paperwork is for leases, and so you want to make sure that you're returning those documents as soon as possible. If you have a retail vehicle, that is contact a deferment. So that means that you'll go ahead and defer that payment, whatever was owed at that point in time, they're going to put it at the end of the loan and then it will be due. So whatever documentation, whether you have a retail vehicle or a lease vehicle, you need to make sure that your paperwork is provided back in a timely manner. Depending upon, how at risk you are, it is highly time sensitive and you do not want to put you or your family at risk of not having a vehicle during a pandemic. Okay, guys, so now I want to talk about accounts that maybe are 90 to 120 days past due, okay? You are behind, okay? Let's just be honest, and things have happened and you weren't able to work them out. Really, I'm going to talk about 90 to 119 because at 120 days, your account may be considered charge-off, and that's a whole different discussion that we'll get into shortly. So between 90 and 119 days. Now, you may be offered a deferment, but depending upon the lender, they may only have maybe a 3-month deferment for you if you're having a purchase vehicle. Okay, you got to get your account way back down to that 90-day mark, and those are the payments that are going to be deferred, and more than likely you're just going to be starting out fresh. This is something I don't know. I don't know everyone's situation. All I can say is that if you are waiting for any party, political party, a party down the street, a party at the house, if you're waiting for anyone else to be responsible for your finances besides you, you just missed the party. You just missed it. It's gone. Okay. At this point in time, the focus is that I have got to do this. I have got to make an arrangement. It is not up to the government. It is not up to, whoever's down the street. It's not up to anyone but you at this moment. You have got to make an arrangement or do something for yourself. Okay. So if you're between the times of 90 to 120 days past due, you have got to ensure that you're speaking to the creditor. If they are calling you, yes, they are blowing up their phones. They want their money. They want their money, okay? And so at this point in time, you have got to let someone know that you are having some type of issue. And some people will be like, well, why are you stressing so much to call and to speak and to communicate with the lender? Because guess what? You would be super surprised of how many customers just honestly don't. And because of that, now they have placed themselves in a bigger detriment, meaning that they will have to spend additional monies for maybe repossession fees, the account charging off, just so many additional fees that could have been avoided if it was just a simple phone call. So make sure if you're between the 90 to 119 day past due, to be honest with you, depending upon the lender, they may have a program for extending maybe up to 3 months, but if you're almost 6 months past due, and they do that 3 months, then you're kind of still behind, but not as bad as a charge-off. So we're going to get into charge-off and what that looks like. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about charge-offs. So charge-off is when an account goes more than 120 days past due on an account. Okay, the vehicle is honestly written off as a loss. It's considered as a loss. It may appear on your credit as a charge-off, okay? And so what would happen at this point in time is that if your vehicle is repossessed and it's charged off and the vehicle is already considered a loss, every state is not eligible, okay, to just pay what is owed and then get the vehicle back. It just doesn't work like that. Some states, you literally may have to pay the full vehicle off to get your vehicle back. It's called redemption. So there's a difference between reinstatement and redemption. And at the charge off, this is the choices that you are going to have to face if your vehicle is repossessed. Some states you might have to reinstate, where you would just have to pay back what you owed and then just continue making the payments going further in the future. If your vehicle is in the redemption state, which means you would have to pay the total amount due for the vehicle, fully paying off so the title can be released to you, that could be tens of thousands of dollars, okay? So we do not want our account to charge off. So one thing that you want to do when your vehicle is in a form of repossession is that you honestly want to know what state that you're in. You want to know how many days past due. The how many days that's past due is so important because, like I mentioned before earlier within the video, is that if you're a first payment default, you never made a payment within 45 days, that could look a lot different and your vehicle could be picked up a lot sooner than just a person who has been making payments but then fell into a situation to where they're not able to do so any longer. So when you picking up the phone, you want to know how many days past due, because the number of days past due will allow you to know, am
I eligible for a deferment? And what would a deferment look like based upon my number of days past due?
And then ask your lender these questions and they'll be able to assist you. Another question that you would want to ask is
my vehicle out for repo?
Okay, if you have not been paying, I mean, this is something that you would want to know. You may want to word it such as,
what is the current status of my account?
And if they just say, just to break down,
well, is it out for repossession?
It's not. Okay,
what can I do to prevent it?
These are the type of conversations that we want to have. We're going to have to put our big girls and big boys, underwear on and just have the conversation and communicate effectively of what we need to get it done, because we don't want anybody's vehicle at risk. Okay? So, all right. So we do not want to avoid phone calls. Why? Because you can check on the status of your account. You know where you stand. You know if your vehicle is repo assigned, or you know that if it's been repossessed. You know what is going on with your vehicle. So that's basically what I was going to state about that. And it's really, really important, because if you don't have the conversation, and they haven't talked to you since February, right? And now it's August. Okay, that's a different conversation than someone who has been in constant communication. You will know if your account can be deferred, or some lenders, you actually have to defer each and every single month. So let's say it's only a 30-day deferment. So you need to know the status of your account, and those phone calls, if someone is contacting you from the lender about your vehicle and you know that you're behind, make sure you definitely pick up. Okay. The next thing that I'm going to ask you to do, if you receive someone on a phone call who's asking to try to collect on a vehicle that you might be past due on and maybe at risk, right? Do not hang up the phone in their face or be rude or any of those things. I don't care if they are rude, nasty. I don't know what happened with their day. Do not do that. Ask for someone else versus just hanging up in that person's face, because you don't know what type of day that person may have had. And guess what? They may actually have the ability to repossess your vehicle. Well, who knows? They might have their kids at home, and I'm not trying to say that everyone would do this or anyone, they would follow their policies and procedures, but you would be surprised that people might be a little bit more lenient on people that are more pleasant, and it just makes sense. Not that it's necessarily right, okay, but honestly, they may have, you might pull on their heartstrings a little bit more versus just, okay, click. Okay, and they might be like,
oh, hello? Did you just click? Oh, you hung up the phone? Okay, we're putting you out for repo.
Okay, and it's not trying to be nasty, or it's not trying to be, you're already in a situation that potentially they could place you off for repo. So don't make it easier for them by having a nasty attitude. Even though if they're nasty, just simply ask. And it's not good customer service. Who knows? It may not be good customer service, okay? Just being honest with you. But ask for someone else. Ask for another agent. Ask for a supervisor, if it can honestly do it. But do not, to be honest with you, I don't know if I would necessarily go to supervisor, right? Because they might be like, you had this vehicle for so long, you didn't even pay. They might be more of the policy than the actual agents that you're speaking to on the phone, okay? So you probably want to go ahead and just say, you know what? Thank you so much. At this time, I have all the information that, I'm going to go ahead and conclude the phone call. I think we're done here for the most part, and, I appreciate, you letting me know the information. I don't have it at this time, but I'm going to seek out some, some other sources, or maybe call back in a little bit, or ask, hey, thanks so much. It's a lot going on right now, and I don't know, it seems like, we're not being able to communicate effectively, or maybe, we're missing it, together we're not really vibing. And would you be able to put me back in the queue, and maybe I could speak to somebody else? Nothing against you. Of course, nothing against you. It's just that, where I'm at right now, I like to have a second voice. Simple. simple. They might be like, oh, okay, it's nothing against me.
No, it's nothing against you ever.
Okay.
I would like to hear it. And you know what? Maybe it won't work. Maybe it won't work at all, like you said. But I just want to try. Is that okay?
Just, what are they going to do? They're recorded. Of course, they're going to have to just go ahead and put you back on the line. Okay? So take a deep breath when you're frustrated. Put yourself on mute. Take a deep breath. But we are not going to hang up on anyone that's calling up for us for a debt that we are way behind on and that they have the power to potentially place us out for repossession. So keep that in mind. All right. So the next step, okay? The next step is what we're going to do is listen, okay? Listen. So you honestly may not like what you are hearing. The lender may not have every policy in place that is to your liking or that fits your financial needs at this moment. But you need to listen and at least hear what they are stating that you need to do to save this vehicle, okay? You need to, because more than likely, they're being recorded, okay? And so they would have to provide you the policy and procedure based upon what they have. And so if you aren't listening to what they're stating, even if you honestly don't like it, or even if you honestly don't have the money, okay, at the moment, we can figure the money out, okay? But we need to know exactly what is needed to be able to salvage the car. So lastly, what is on the list is get money, okay? So if your account is repo assigned, all right, some lenders, you don't have a repossession fee potentially or have any additional cost of repossession if we can at least get the repo assignment removed, right? That's like the main goal. So our focus, and if the repo is assigned, right, and if your vehicle's maybe has been picked up, then you also need to consider, all right, so how much money do I need to be able to satisfy this account based upon what they're stating, either, a reinstatement or a redemption that we mentioned earlier, all right? Get money, okay? Don't get mad. Well, you can get mad, okay, because it's upsetting, okay? Life has really done a number on all of us, okay? Get mad for the moment, but then understand after you're mad, there is still an obligation, and you still have an obligation to yourself and to your family, to those that you love, to be able to move in this universe in a vehicle, okay, that would be suitable for you, especially if you can. Sometimes we get so upset about the situation that's going around us, and we're just like, oh my gosh, I feel so helpless, right? Because you've never been placed in a situation, or gosh, life just has given you such, it just feels like you've just been given lemon drops or sour lemons, right? Someone's just giving you sour lemons. So just think about sour lemon. It just makes me get okay? So when you think about it, it's just like, oh my gosh, how am I going to be able to get to the next level when all this has happened to me? I'm going to tell you how. You are going to have to believe. You are going to have to believe that it's okay. Even if you don't get this vehicle back, okay? It's going to be okay. And you're going to be able to move and to be able to complete it. It don't feel like it right now. It definitely is probably not going to feel like it right now. And that's okay. But you have to pump yourself up, okay? Because you got people dependent upon you, even if it's just yourself. And you got to figure out, okay, how am I going to get money? I might have to do things, and not illegally, okay? But I might have to do things that maybe I wasn't used to before. Maybe I'm not used to, Googling resources, okay, of how to get some additional funds. Maybe I have to refinance the house or something of that nature. Maybe I have to speak to a relative that perhaps we didn't have the best, method of communication, or maybe we just don't get along, but bygones going to have to be good bygones because we're family. Maybe you have to talk to a close friend. Maybe I have to open up and actually be vulnerable and be like, hey, can I have a loan? Or hey, can I do some extra work? Or hey, whatever that looks like for you, you're just going to have to move yourself from where you are currently present and be who you need to be, so that way you can get this money, okay, to salvage this car, or at least remove it from the repo assignment. You can Google local resources. Let's just say, right, that whatever the lender had advised you, that's not honestly going to cut it, because you know that something else is going to occur in the future. So you may just want to be able to be like, okay, now I gotta Google resources or try something else that might work for people who are impacted by COVID. Okay. And sometimes you don't want your business out there, okay? But your business will be out there if you're walking without a car. Let's just be honest, okay? I'm not trying to be mean or anything like that, all right? But we got to face it, okay? We got to be like, you know what? I need to do something different, okay? You can ask, like, maybe charity, like, perhaps that would be, asking the church. And I'm telling you, people don't like to do it, but sometimes you will be very surprised who may come to your help if they only knew that you honestly needed help. There honestly might be resources out there, charities, churches, things of that nature that would be like, oh my gosh, we gotta help. Like, you know what I'm saying? Or maybe that feels like their mission, because just like you're in a situation, I feel like God places people on their own type of mission, right? There might be somebody with a mission of like being able to help people during this pandemic, and that's what they want to be able to do. They just don't know that you're out there and you need the help, okay? So just voice it out, out there. Or you may never know who knows who, okay? Who might be able to help you. I don't know if any of these resources, to be honest with you, it may or may not be working, but you're going to have to do something, because it's not going to be a pity party, because a pity party, no one gets any presents there. So it's only tears. So you got to just move yourself out of that type of environment. And then you also need to start selling or start investing in yourself. Perhaps there is something that you have been wanting to do or get out there, right? I recently went down a street and someone was like something about like tacos or selling tacos, something like that. And they were just like from their home. And then I knew somebody else who was selling like items before, and then they got a website, and now, they're starting to launch and do a little more things online. You got to figure out what you're good at, okay? And do it, okay? And you might be like, how in the world am I supposed to do all this? And I ain't got no car. I'm at risk for like losing my car. Okay, at this point in time, make the time for what you have got to do until you have a resolution that suits your needs at this type of moment. There is no sleep until you can figure this out, okay? But what you need to do is really consider consider something bigger than you, right? Consider your faith, right? And really honing in your faith at this time, really manifesting like, hey, in your word, Lord, you said this, that, the third, and just move in that aspect. Or, whatever your faith, whatever your religion, at this point in time, we asking everybody, who else you got, okay? Because we asking everybody all the help that we can get. I want you all to be successful. If I am communicating with you in these videos, it's because more than likely I've either seen this done or I know something about it. And in this case, I have seen this done and know a little bit something about it. So I'm telling you this so that way I know that this is not an easy time for you, but I do not want you to be fooled into thinking that you have the ability to not make payments and that somehow there's this magical, I don't know, a magical government program that says nobody can repossess cars at this moment. It's just simply not true. And if you're under that impression, it's time to say, whoa, let me go ahead and research what I'm saying, okay? There's no freeze at this present moment. Your vehicle may be picked up. So if you're at risk, or you know someone who, may need this video for inspiration or maybe need it for knowledge, make sure you share, okay? So we're going to we're going to comment, we're definitely going to subscribe so we can get some additional information, because guess what? You are family. You are my winning family, okay? And I want to make sure that you win. And that's why I'm presenting this information to you so that way you can. I hope that you have an amazing day. Thank you so much for taking your time to speak with me. And as always, I'm Coach Shay Watley. Stay winning and embrace the increase. Bye.